Katie Nolan finally can talk about what feels like the greatest night in your life. I don't know. Where are we hyperbolically?
No, it's up there. It was fun. It was fun. Should I say what it is? Are you going to say?
I feel like we have to say it. That you are, we're talking, Dan, to a Celebrity Jeopardy semifinalist now.
Look at that. She's beaming. This is sheer radiance on her. I would think fun you can say now. I would imagine terror beforehand. No? Like that's not fun from the very start. That only became fun when you were crushing it.
Yeah, it was very scary. I think I watch Jeopardy every night, and I feel like a big part of it was like how I started. So when I got out there and it was like the first question, I was like, you got to set the tone. You're either going to be good at this or you're going to suck at this. And the rehearsal that they give you right before goes so fast, and I could not get the buzzer, and the questions were really hard, and it psyched me out. And then I got out there, and then you saw, if you did see, or Dan, maybe you didn't.
I did not. This is what I saw.
Well.
If I may, Katie, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but all I know is that I came in this morning and on my television, and it legitimately made me smile, happy watching my television to see that the Golics were talking on their DraftKings show about you. I couldn't hear, the sound was not up, but I saw a giant money total where you were, and also making me smile, $75 from the person next to you. I didn't see a third person. I just saw you had some giant amount of money, like $17,000, and then the person next to you had $75.
Shout out Sherri Shepherd, the absolute sweetest woman on the planet.
But that third person, a big you to them. Spoiler alert. Hold on. We got to explain what made me smile while I was watching Celebrity Jeopardy, and it was a text that I got from a friend of mine, Michael Cruz Kane, who's a writer for Colbert, and he said this, quote, I didn't think you had the ability to do that, but I do deserve it. What Michael Cruz Kane texted me was, quote, what your girl Katie Nolan is doing on Celebrity Jeopardy right now is unkind. Because this is how this episode of Celebrity Jeopardy got going.
Chef Jamie Oliver's website says that if you use lamb instead of beef for cottage pie, it should go by this occupational name. Katie.
What is shepherd's pie?
You got it.
Oh, I did?
Katie.
What is a Leo?
Correct.
E.
Katie.
Again. What is a levy?
My Chevy to the levee, yes. Katie.
What is Volvo?
That's correct. Katie.
What is Dalmatian?
That's it. Katie.
What is a Kiwi?
Yes, it is. Katie.
What is Vatican City?
Right again. Katie.
What is Scrub Daddy?
You seem very happy about Scrub Daddy.
Because I have a personal connection to Scrub Daddy. It just makes me very happy.
Oh my God.
Cruel.
Wait a minute. I am watching televised cartoon confidence muscles grow. Look at her body language. She goes from whatever the darkness was of fear to, oh, I got this, surprising herself. And then you can just see her gather strength.
It was, and I mean this so sincerely, it felt like I was watching an athlete.
A hot streak. She's in the zone.
Oh, in the zone.
Yes, she's going to hit 11 straight shots.
Feeling it. In fact, it felt more specifically like watching an NBA player in a celebrity basketball game. Like, this person should not be, like, this is not fair.
Even better, though, for dorks, it's the greatest thing. She's in the brain zone. She's not just in a zone. She's not just in a zone. She's in a zone where she's showing everybody that she's kicking ass at being smart. Or, and I don't have context for this, the other celebrities were terrible.
No, they weren't.
Well, Christopher Meloni.
A former Jeopardy champion, former Celebrity Jeopardy champion, Christopher Meloni.
From Law & Order, Christopher Meloni and Sherri Shepherd. You'll notice in that montage, if you're watching on the DraftKings Network or on YouTube, that their totals don't really go up at all.
The first round was rough.
Yours, though, it felt like watching an adult play video games against children.
And here's the thing. They probably felt that way celebrity-wise. They were probably like, we are so famous, and who is this woman?
Who's this
I
ringer?
truly think that my whole career has been just to get famous enough so I can go on Jeopardy without having to take the test. And that's what I did.
I got to be honest, I didn't think any of us were famous enough to be on Celebrity Jeopardy. I don't think of myself as someone who is famous enough to be on Celebrity Jeopardy.
Me neither, but I was, and I still don't.
I can't tell if what Katie did means that they want to invite more such people who are really good at Jeopardy, even if they're over-indexing on the skill and under-indexing on, like, the Q rating. Because at some point, it got uncomfortable for me to watch.
No way.
Like, because of this.
As Charles Darwin could tell you, to do this is to gradually change or develop over time. Sherri.
What is evolution?
Sorry, no. Katie.
What is evolve?
Evolve, yes.
That's part of evolution.
So close.
Is this how we're starting it off?
I don't want you to be mad.
Okay, all right, I'm with you. Demonyms for 500, please.
It's how you might refer to a resident of Tirana, a capital city near the Adriatic coast, or to a resident of New York's state capital. Christopher.
What is Albania? Albany.
I'm sorry,
Albanian.
no. Sherri or Katie? Katie.
What is an Albanian?
Pity.
Yes, scoop it in there to pick up.
I've done it twice
right
now.
here.
I've done it twice now.
You know what? I'm not.
If I need this money later, if I'm not doing well later, so I had
I like
to take
you a
it.
boss lady, but
I
this
like
right
you
here-
both so much.
You gotta watch your mouth around her. She's listening to everything you two say. I
This
think.
means so much to me.
She was apologizing while
For taking their
dunking on
money,
them.
for winning, and I'm sitting there and I still don't know what a demonym is. I still don't know.
I don't either, to be quite honest.
It was just like I've always watched Jeopardy and been like, oh, I feel bad for when somebody buzzes in and they get it, but they don't phrase it right, or they get it, but they don't use the form of a question, and then somebody buzzes in right after them and gets. I wouldn't have gotten Albanian. I wasn't.
Without his help.
I know now.
Without his incompetence. You
yeah.
needed his
I
incompetence.
know the capital
Katie,
now
you
of
had
Albania,
to, Katie,
but
you
I didn't
had to
then.
feel like the universe, the cosmos, were just lobbing lobs to you where I don't know the answer, but these pitiful fools are going to give me the answer by playing poorly.
Moron celebrities.
No, they were so nice. I want to be clear. They were so nice, and I really, truly love them. I don't know if they love me, but I really did like them. I accidentally called Christopher Chris when I met him, and I was like very embarrassed because he was like, it's Christopher.
Well, what happened next in this emotional roller coaster took a dark turn for Christopher Meloni, because I want you to watch Christopher Meloni's face in these next couple of moments. Just zoom in as everyone else is celebrating Katie Nolan and Detective Stabler.
An investigative report? You're doing an investigative report on this man's face.
Tell us about your charity, Katie.
Oh, yeah, I'm playing for the Association of Women in Sports Media, which, you know, I am a woman in sports media, but we need more. Sports media is still like 80% male. So AWSM has campus chapters, they have a scholarship program, mentorship, networking events, just to try to bring more women and more unique voices into sports media.
That's fantastic. Well done.
Absolutely. Applaud. No.
Nothing.
Again, Dan, watch.
Go slow on his face. He's got no time. He doesn't look like he wants women in sports media.
What is gaslighting?
That's the word, yes. You add $2,000.
Christopher Meloni refusing to clap for women in sports media and then for your successful daily double did not feel accidental.
So he was 2 people away from me, and so during the actual taping, I did not pick up on how mad his energy was. I don't know if he was mad.
He was hostile.
He seemed pretty mad.
I don't know if
watching
it's
it
mad.
back last night, I was like, oh, he's mad.
I don't know if it's mad or hostile, but I will say, I can say without a word spoken that he is both not for women in the media and pro-gaslighting. It felt like. That's how it felt like to me.
But the climax of this episode, and it is in so many senses a climactic thing, is Katie Nolan, Dan. Katie Nolan has more than twice as much money as the second place contestant, Christopher Meloni, as established. And then Final Jeopardy begins.
What happens here?
Everything.
Don't mess with Texas. Sam Houston's troops shouted this 3-word battle cry while attacking Santa Anna's army at San Jacinto. 30 seconds, players. Good luck. Christopher Meloni was in second place with 8,800. He wrote down, what is Remember the Alamo? Yes, that's the slogan. Your wager? Wagered it all. You have $17,600. Now, Katie Nolan had that big lead. Did she have Remember the Alamo?
I did.
She did. Now, math, not your favorite part of the game.
Oh, no.
You just had to wager more than 3,500.
Right.
And you're a
and
champion.
I wagered 30.
You wagered exactly 30.
Oh my God!
Christopher and Katie are exactly tied. And we're going to be going to a tiebreaker clue.
No! Come on!
Katie, Christopher, pick up your signaling devices. I'm going to read a single category and clue.
I have never seen this.
The first one of you to buzz in with the correct response is our winner and our semifinalist. But I do need a correct response. Your category is French history. And here's the clue. Drink up. A famous New Orleans street is named after this dynasty that ruled France for most of the 17th and 18th centuries. Katie.
What is bourbon?
It is bourbon!
Yes. Yes. In your face.
So what you're watching, and you got to watch this on YouTube or the DraftKings Network, is Christopher Meloni and Katie Nolan both arriving at the same exact total, $17,600, going to a sudden death clue off. And Katie's celebrating like she just won the fucking Super Bowl.
A magic carpet ride. Katie, I couldn't have written that up better if I was trying to write script writing on, have her foul it up here, the whole thing at the end with her bad math, and then at the end still club that stoic misery over there, Christopher, still club him in the face at the end with one final indignity. What a championship effort by you. Excellent work.
Truly.
Thank you so much.
I want to do what Christopher Meloni refused to do and clap for you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
What he was too busy doing, though, Katie, as we humiliate you by celebrating you. Dan, this is what Christopher Meloni, if we're going to zoom in on that pivotal moment when he saw his life flash before his eyes, this is what he was trying to do. This is the video of him. Desperately trying to buzz in to the point that it looks like he's actively masturbating. I mean, it looks like, is he adjusting his jacket? Is he jacking off? No, he's
Let me
just
see
trying
that. Let me
to
see
be
that again.
played again.
I thought he was angry and pulling on the sleeve of his
that is
jacket.
such a generous read. This is a man who thinks he has the answer and is desperately trying to
he has
sure.
the answer. It was an easy question. He has the answer.
But you were so close to blowing.
Oh my God.
The 28-3 lead.
Yeah, I know.
You were so close to embodying.
The amount of sports analogies in my Twitter mentions last night of people being like, wow, you really almost Bucknered that whole thing.
Pablo, do you realize that if she had, we wouldn't be able to have any fun with this because she'd be ravaging her face today.
I'd be at home.
Correct.
I would not be here. You guys are not paying me. I would be at home. I would have slept in today and kept the blinds
so
down.
close. That would have been like a lifetime regret to get your math wrong. To get your math wrong, it would have gone to echoing shame and laughter. So close.
So can I tell? I haven't been able to tell this story yet. When
Please.
I don't know if it's like this in regular Jeopardy, but when they go to commercial and they say, here's the final Jeopardy category, make your wagers, we'll be right back. They brought out paper and a pen. And they were like, you can check your math, you can whatever, and then you got to put in your wager. So I do the math because my dad and I had watched a Celebrity Jeopardy like right before I went. And he was like, just take double theirs, and then see what the difference is between yours and what theirs doubled could be. And that's the number you got to beat. I did all that, and I double and triple checked that I got that number right. And I forgot that you then also have to add one.
Wow.
But we had seen somebody who did that, but they got the question wrong, and they ended up losing enough money that when they lost that money, the other person's double was higher than their. So I was overthinking that part because it was rallying cries, and I was like, I don't actually know if I know any rallying cries. So I'm afraid to risk more than I need to, which is why I did exactly 3,500, which again, I know now is not correct, but is why I didn't round up to 4,000 because I wasn't feeling that confident about the clue itself. Then we are done. They take away the papers. I actually said out loud, can somebody check my math? I was like, can I get somebody else to check my math? And they said no.
Can I get a non-celebrity to check this math?
So then they go, they're like, okay, 3, 2, 1. And Ken says, welcome back to Jeopardy. And I think he flubbed a line or something. They had to redo the intro. In that moment, I realized
oh no,
what had happened. And we were about to retape. And I almost said, can I change my wager before we go? Before we start, because I'm like, integrity-wise, because they give you this big speech before you go out there. There's like a game show cop who comes over and tells you, like,
there's a game show Christopher Meloni.
Well, so Christopher Meloni got really buddy-buddy with him, and I was like, man, you love cops, huh? But he came over and he was like, these are the rules of the game. You are entitled to know the rules of the game. If at any point in the game you feel the rules have not been explained to you, you can stop and ask for the rules, and they will be So they were very serious about the integrity of it. And in my head, I'm like, well, we're starting over, and no clue has been revealed. Nothing has happened. Can I just change it? But I chickened out and I didn't ask. So then that whole block where everybody's saying their answers, once I found out, I think you can actually hear it when Christopher Meloni gets it right. I think I whispered, because I think that's when I realized I too got it right, and we are going to overtime. Like, I knew right away that I'm a big, dumb idiot. Well, and then what they don't show is that there's a break while they have to prepare the overtime. So it was like a quite a significant amount of time of sitting there stewing in the fact that I just blew it and that it was all over for me. But there was a point where, and if I may sports this up, there was a point where I was, standing there cursing myself, being like, how could you do this? You were in the lead the whole time. You ruined the whole thing. And then I was like, look, you could still win. You could still win. There's still a chance you could win. And nobody has ever won something after giving themselves this pep talk of like, you suck, you blew it. And so I was like, you're okay. You've done really, really well. You made a dumb mistake, but now you're going to redeem yourself and everything's going to be fine. And I had Sherri Shepherd being like, it's okay. It's all right. I would have done the same thing. So it ended up being fine. But that's why shout out to Sherri Shepherd. I know she didn't have the showing she probably wanted on Celebrity Jeopardy, but if
$75 is how I know her. Yep.
If I could just endorse her as a person, she was a very sweet,
all right,
sweet
shout out
angel.
to you, $75.
And as always, a big you to Stabler.
No. I wanted him to like me so bad, and boy, did I blow it. He did not.
Yeah, you found out that he hates
me.
you.
I know. Katie Nolan found out. He found out hard.
What is next for you in this?
So next is the semifinals. So it'll be 3 people who did what I did. So won their episode, and then we meet in the semifinals. And then from there, one person will then go on to the final, which will be against 2 other people who made the same journey up a different side of the bracket.
Damn.
I do not know when it airs yet, but it has been taped. And I cannot say any more than that.
Wow.
It's this is the coolest. I know people are probably like, all right, Katie's been on everything talking about this, but like this is my peak. So thank you for letting me talk about it.